This video is to show the design of our perimeter fence, and hopefully it helps somebody in designing their own fence. Our goal here was to keep cats and dogs in, and to keep fox, deer, groundhogs, and rabbits out. We do also have chickens. They have a different zone, so they're not necessarily up against this fence. The fence is about 8 feet tall. The original design was to bore holes for the posts, but too much rock, so they had to actually excavate holes and use concrete. That became kind of expensive. Total cost on the project was, I believe, in excess of $25,000. The fence is 300 lineal feet, somewhere in there, I believe. It's got a bunch of gates. The header on the drive-through double gate comes out in case taller vehicles have to come through. There's a fence along the ground on the outside that runs up along and then runs horizontal on the surface. Can't really see that. That's now covered. That keeps the groundhogs from digging. That fence runs about 18 inches back, horizontal along the ground, so the groundhogs won't go back beyond that and start to dig. One of the designs of the fence here that we like is the strands above the 5-foot wire mesh section. We think aesthetically that looks pretty nice. And functionally, the bottom strand is electrified. That has definitely kept the cats from climbing out. They for sure have been electrified and want to go nowhere near that top strand and try to climb out anymore. That part has worked good. As far as the strands themselves, that installation was some of those are eye bolts that come the whole way through for one termination, and then the other side is, well, and then some of those are just cable clamps. That part's covered with that board that is a space filler, so nothing tries to crawl through there, but you can see a cable clamp there is used kind of as a washer recessed in that space. And then the other side, we're just using a buckle that screws in, and the tension is created from screwing that in. It's basically the action of the screw threads created the tension, and that has actually worked good. In this section, obviously, the screwing of the eye bolts through is what caused the tension on this corner, but most of the other corners and terminations, we just used the screwing the buckle down, and that tightened the strands, and that worked great. The top has a mesh. I call that the shock top, so anything that tries to climb over does indeed get shocked. The caps on the posts are homemade, and I think they turned out pretty nice, kind of decorative, and make the fence look finished. You can see the wire strands above the gates, again, so the cats don't climb out and other animals try to climb in. Originally they did try to go between those strands, hence the wire mesh now above the gates as well. This has worked great. So it's been almost 3 years, and other than a couple cats climbing out at the beginning, and actually one snapping turtle climbing up and over, climbed the mesh fence and got under the electrified strand and went into our pond. Aside from that, the fence has worked awesome. You know, if there was a doubt as to whether or not our investment was going to result in keeping our companion animals in and the wild animals out, you know, I feel good about that now being answered, and that's really one of the reasons I want to offer this video, is to let you know, if you're interested in designing a fence like this, it has worked.